Welcome inside Lucas Oil Stadium after a thrilling 29-28 Week 2 win for your Indianapolis Colts over the Denver Broncos. What a game, and I don't know where to start really in this one, but let's start at the end. Colts a bit conservative play calling there on its final offensive possession, settling almost for a 60-yard field goal attempt as time expires. Spencer Schrader, who's been perfect this season in Game 1, all the way through in Game 2, ahead of that game-winning potential kick at the end, and just wasn't even close, but a leverage penalty on the Broncos, giving the Colts a second chance, not only a re-kick, but 15-yard penalty. Thank you very much. A 45-yarder then to win it was true from Spencer Schrader. 5 for 5 on the day, and perfect this season for the Colts, who are 2-0 now for the first time since 2009. What a day for this Colts offense. Nearly 500 yards of total offense. Jonathan Taylor, almost 170 yards rushing on the ground, and heavily involved in the passing game as well, as were a slew of these Colts playmakers. And that's something we talked about dating back to the first game for the Colts against the Dolphins. All throughout the week leading up to this game against the Broncos is the unselfishness of these Colts pass catchers and the way Daniel Jones has been facilitating to them, getting everybody involved. Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce making a play deep down the field. Josh Downs getting more heavily involved in this football game than he was in Week 1. Tyler Warren, of course, a constant in this Colts offense. And A.D. Mitchell getting a few catches as well. Jonathan Taylor, again, the way he was involved out of the backfield in the pass game. Really impressive stuff. Not a Colts pass catcher over 79 yards. And I think 6 receptions was the top total. So just spreading it throughout the team. I want to say 7 or 8 guys caught balls from Daniel Jones, who had another brilliant outing following up his Week 1 performance. 23 of 34, I want to say, for over 300 yards, a touchdown, and another rushing touchdown as well. Just really complimentary football again. Good stuff from this Colts offense. That's the only thing you can really say about it. Really impressive. We got a chance to hear from Spencer Schrader, the hero, and a couple of these Colts playmakers after the game on what was a fantastic day from this Colts offensive side of the ball.
Great, gutsy, gritty team win. Talked to those guys at halftime in the locker room. Hey, this second half, we got to go win it in the fourth quarter. And got the takeaway by Cam. I thought, the offensive line gave Daniel protection. Obviously going for over 300 yards there. JT ran hard on the ground. Great performance, some things to clean up. But to get 2 back-to-back wins at home in front of our home crowd, the atmosphere out there was electric. Crowd showed up. It was awesome. We got to go do it again every week. So we got a division game coming up, but great win for our team today.
Can you explain the decision at the end to just settle for the 60-yard field goal and the relief that you kind of got built out?
Yeah, well, we were in field goal range there, felt good about it, and then on that third down, obviously we went backwards there on that one. But yeah, that's football sometimes. Obviously, we got the penalty that helped us out and found a way to win it there.
Were you trying to make sure that was
Yeah, because, I don't want to get into it, but yes. Yeah, I don't want any time left on that clock.
Daniel throwing for over 300 against a really good Broncos defense. What did he do well?
I thought he was efficient, taking his reads, going through his progressions. The ball placement was good again. I don't know what he completed. What was he today? 25 of 34, 107 QB rating, 1 touchdown. Like I said, I think the O-line did a hell of a job. I thought all the receivers did a nice job. Tyler Warren did a nice job. It was just efficient all around.
I don't know about quite like that. But, yeah, it was exciting. Big-time kick there by Spence, and good job by the guys up front. We got it down in there. Alec ran a big-time route on the shallow, created some separation, and then, big-time kick.
They played tight coverage today. You guys challenged them and won a lot of those matchups. What allowed you guys to have that success?
We got a lot of confidence in our guys and our guys to win in a lot of those matchups, and they did. It's a good secondary. We talked throughout the week. It's a good secondary. It's a good front. It's a good defense. And we were confident with our guys going in that we'd stack up well. I think in a game like that, you're going to have some good, some bad, but you kind of just keep going, play the next play, and we won a lot of those situations today, and it was good to see.
How long has it been since you have felt this comfortable
I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know how much time I've spent comparing it to, times in the past or different situations I've been in, but I feel, I feel confident and there's a great energy about our team, I think, about our offense, about our group. I think we're executing at a high level. I think there's still things we need to do better. I think, you look at some of the red zone stuff today and, things we can sharpen up down there, things I can sharpen up for sure. But, yeah, I think collectively as a group, we're confident about what we can be, and we know that we're still growing and developing.
How have you created such confidence for your head coach to know that he can come to you in that situation, game on the line?
It's a day-by-day process. It's coming in the facility every day and just doing your best and trying to figure out ways that you can improve. It's him seeing me in environments where I succeed, but it's also him seeing me in environments where I fail and kind of how I handle that moving forward. And so you develop that trust, and that process starts obviously in OTAs and carries through training camp and then during the season. And at the end of the day, you always have to have trust in this game. You have to trust your teammates, trust your coaches, and I think that's a good example of that at the end of the day.
Spencer, how do you manage your emotions in a situation like that? And then have to do it again. Can you tell us about that, just managing your emotions there?
Yeah, so I was obviously trying to stay as calm as I could on the sideline and just thinking about, listen, God loves you no matter what. Just go out there and do your best for the team. Like, the more that you think about, the more that's going to get in your head. So just think about your process. And went out there and felt pretty comfortable. First kick, I felt the pressure coming from the other side of the ball, and I just felt like it just kind of got in my routine a little bit. And so I felt like that disappointment right after the kick. I kind of got hit after the play, so there was a lot of chaos going on. I saw the flag was thrown, and then it was like reset your mentality. You're getting another opportunity. Whatever happened to pass, you just got to flush it. You got to rethink about your mentality. It's keep your eyes down, follow through straight, and hopefully that thing goes through. And I was able to do a good job of resetting in that instance and hitting a good kick for the team.
The second that goes through, just what goes through your mind? Celebrate with your team like that?
I don't know if anything did. I got swarmed so fast. I looked up, I saw it going through, and it was like bang. It's just joy. That's the only emotion that you're feeling after something like that.
To contribute to being 2-0 and to be perfect through those 2 weeks, like what's that mean for you and your confidence in this team?
Confidence in your teammates and trust. Glad that I could perform my job for the team, and I feel that pressure. I want to perform for those guys, and so there's a feeling of relief and joy when you're able to do that. And then it's back to work and preparing for the next opportunity and developing the consistency to follow up that performance week after week.
Shane was trying to manage that situation, like, do I just run the clock down so that they don't get the ball back and all that? But it's also a long field goal. I don't know, did you kind of realize at some point, like, oh, this is going to be a long one?
So I always prepare like it's going to be. I prepare like the situation is going to be the hardest situation possible, and it can only get easier. And so I thought, like, all right, game winner, really long kick, get yourself in that mentality. And then I just trust the coaches to do their thing and do the management, because I don't know that much about football. So I just trust them to do their thing. And I'm like, they'll give me an opportunity, and then it's just my job to execute at the end of the day.
Is Will missing on the other end? Does that register, when you see the opposing kicker miss his chance to make an impact and just the reality of your situation?
Well, you feel for him. Obviously, you want all the guys to succeed, but you want to win at the end of the day. And so I didn't really feel anything with his miss. It was more so like, oh, now I know I'm getting an opportunity. I know that it's going to be coming down to me. So get my mind in the spot that I need to go out there and hit that kick.
When did it creep into your mind, like, I have a chance to possibly win this? Like, when Cam gets a turnover, or when you go out there to kick? Like, when does that register?
Just leading up to that kick, at some point, I just try to not get too engaged with the game and get too emotional about what's happening out there, but keep myself calm and at peace. But sort of leading up based on the communication from the coaches, and you can kind of tell they're setting you up for that kick. So you're getting in the mentality, but I try not to let the emotions of the game creep into my mentality too much.
About the composure, the poise of Spencer Schrader to close out the game.
For him to go out there and make that big play. I don't know exactly how far it was. I think it was a 45-yarder, something like that, and then just to put it right through. To make us 2-0. That's huge. So
2-0 for the first time since 2009. Wow. What indication is that of this group and how you guys have come together, fought to find ways to win?
Yeah, today was a scrappy win, and I thought that everybody just hung tight, and we played it out, and we played hard for all 4 quarters, and we were fortunate enough to come out with the win. We had We had a lot of big plays. We hopped on the JT train today. So, it was just a great game.
You guys had almost 500 yards of total offense. Like, through 2 weeks, how's it feel to have this team clicking like it is?
Yeah, we always thought that we were capable. We just had to do it, and it's good to see us come out and do it 2 times in a row. We got to do it 3 times.
A little more factor in the passing game right now?
I definitely did. Like I said, sometimes if they want to leave something not as a point of emphasis for them, you got to make them pay every time.
And you heard the word redemption. Obviously, last year you had the play where you dropped the ball before crossing the end zone. Did you feel any redemption scoring today?
Well, at least I know that was a touchdown that I should have had last year. But new year, new team, not only for our side, but for their side as well. But understanding that was still a great team, a great defense. So however the game shook out, whether I had a touchdown or not, it was just whatever my job, my assignment was, we had to execute at a high level.
You've obviously practiced with Daniel, OTAs, training camp, but what have you learned about him now in these 2 full games to start the season?
Really his toughness, and not to say that, I didn't think he was tough before, but when you actually are in the battle and in the midst of it with someone, and you can kind of see that grit that he has, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see.
Can you feel him, hanging in the pocket, feeling the rush, still getting those throws off, and kind of showing his toughness that way?
Definitely, and I think that's something. Of course, with him, being around for a while, you're able to learn to adapt to that rather than a young quarterback. But when you have a quarterback that'll definitely sit in there and make those tough throws, that just gives you a sense of pride of, hey, let's give him time. Let's just give him time.
Has he helped you out with pass protection IDs and getting in there on some of those?
Definitely being able to echo the calls too. Even though offense is out there and. You kind of can hear the center, and it's a little bit easier when you're home. But then sometimes, if the communication is a little off with the O-line, and they're communicating amongst themselves, he echoes the calls back. So helping to be that bridge between the O-line and the running back room is definitely helpful.
You mentioned this week that big plays, big runs were coming, and they did today. What did you see that gave you confidence that it was coming pretty soon?
Definitely just early on, just understanding we were getting 5, 6. Maybe a 2 or 3, but when you're able to consistently move the ball, all it takes is, just everyone being man on, you winning your one-on-one, and those opportunities are going to come, but you got to continue to take what they give you.
First 2-0 start since 2009. The energy, the vibes of this team, how do they compare now to your other seasons that you've been here? I
just think that there's a little bit something extra. It's a little bit something extra, and of course we know we're honoring Mr. Irsay, and of course we know he's looking down, and we know that we have a little bit of that blessing on us, but it's just about that focus, that emphasis each and every single week, and understanding that we're on a mission, and for us to be able to play for one another, offense, defense, special teams, playing that complementary ball, that's how we're going to win games.
JT, do you think y'all were just due for one? You've been through some ups and downs with this team, but when you look up, okay, maybe we got a break today. How do you view that? I just think it was that fight and that consistency. At the end of the day, you have to play like it's your last until that clock strikes 0. As long as there's time on the clock, you have a chance. And I think that's just the way and the mentality that we've been playing these past 2 games is every time we're out there, offense, defense, or special teams, we have a chance. We have a chance to make a play. We have a chance to make an impact in this game. And if we continue to do that, we're going to be a really tough team to beat.
So offense, the story in this game just kept responding, and I think if you had to kind of have a criticism of this Colts offense through 2 weeks, it's the amount of field goals they're settling for in the red zone rather than scoring touchdowns. It's become a bit of a theme here. Before that 45-yarder from Spencer Schrader to win the football game, the previous 4 field goals, the longest attempt was 36 yards, meaning that's 4 trips inside the red zone that you're settling for field goals rather than scoring touchdowns. That's 16 additional points. In theory, the Colts could have added to their total. I think they only had 1 punt, maybe 2 in this game. So through 2 weeks, you're not punting the football very much, and you're capitalizing, scoring the football at a high clip, whether it's field goals or touchdowns or whatever. The driving down the field and the sustained offensive drives have been really impressive from this Colts team. Shane Steichen saying, though, got to figure out that red zone offense and efficiency a little bit better, got to score touchdowns rather than field goals. It was an exciting one. There's no doubt about that. The Colts defense, let's talk about them for a little bit different than from week one. Not as disruptive, certainly. Latu downgraded in the middle of the week, missing this football game with a hamstring. Travarius Ward with a concussion. He was in concussion protocol. He did not play. Jalen Jones obviously did not play as well. So thin at the defensive back position. Xavier Howard showing that he was a guy who took a year off a little bit in this game, penalized a lot. There's one series that sticks out before the half that was problematic, to put it mildly, for the Colts veteran defensive back there, but not very good tackling, not getting to the quarterback, not being hardly as disruptive as you were in week one was this Colts defense. But they made the plays they needed to make when they needed to make them. Cam Bynum with a massive interception down the stretch, his second interception in as many games for this Colts defense, and a celebration to boot. I mean, whenever you get blue involved with the celebration, very impressive stuff from Cam Bynum right there. But making the plays you needed to make when you needed to make them. Bending, not breaking, and at the end of the day, the Colts scored more points than the Broncos, and that's all that matters. That's all people will remember. Again, 2-0 for the first time since 2009. Wasn't the best defensive performance, but a couple of these defensive playmakers talk about just a gritty win for this Colts team after this one. All right, man. 2-0 for the first time since 2009. And I mean, what's to say about this team? The resiliency, Schrader knocking it through, the ability to reset. I mean, what's it all been like since the game ended?
Man, I'll tell you what, man, this team is extremely close. Something that we really focus on since OTAs. Just coming together as brothers, building that brotherhood, and just believing in each other. And I think when you go against a talented team like Denver, back and forth battle, it comes down to the team that's more close-knit, and it comes down to the team that makes one more play, and we were able to do that. So.
Okay, so you probably agree, maybe not the complete defensive performance of last week, but to make the plays you needed to make when you needed to make them. Like, what's to say about the resiliency of this group? It's a gritty win.
Oh, no question. Like I told y'all this week, man, our defense got a lot of room to grow, and I think that was on tap a little bit this week. Today. Obviously, some mistakes that we made, myself included, all of us included. Things we all could be better at, and we're gonna get to the film on Monday and tell the truth and grow from it like we would if we won or lost. But today we celebrating the win, and I think when you're playing a great defense like Denver, as long as you make one more play than them, that's all that matters.
As a guy who's been here longer than most and has had to take the early season results that you've had, what is 2-0 and doing something that hasn't been done in more than a decade mean to you? Man,
I told the boys today, man, I feel like we're a team of destiny. I feel like we're a team that, that's playing for something. Obviously, coming together in the name of Jim and, to continue to grow and build through that. But look, man, we got a lot of room to grow. It's extremely early. Like I told the guys last week, we ain't overreacting to the loss the same way we ain't overreacting to the win. So definitely celebrating tonight, but when it comes tomorrow, let's learn from it, let's get better.
Do you think you were due for one? Like, just as far as the football guys go, with the way the coaching is going for the coach, like, okay, you owe us one in a way, like.
James, you funny. But let me say this. Look, man. Look, I think when you live right, when you trust God, you continue to keep your head down, you grind no matter what. Obviously, personally, I've been through things, had to learn and grow through things. As a team, as an organization, we've been through things, had to learn and grow through things. I wouldn't say we out of the woods by a long shot, but it definitely feels good to be on the better side of the first 2 weeks.
You've seen a lot of games end in really crazy ways. Maybe not so crazy as this. What did you see from the sideline from the first kick through the second? Man,
I mean, obviously Spence, he was killing it all day. I mean, we watch him nail those kicks all the time in practice, but it's different with the money on the line. I'm kind of a little throw, so I got to laugh in extremely serious moments. So I'm over there talking to Shagun about what his walk-up song would be. It was bad, so it is what it is. So I'm over there singing my walk-up song, and then we got the penalty, and it's funny, I was laughing at one of the guys. I would have took just a re-kick, but they gave us 15 yards. I said, oh, yeah, we about to go pick him up when you make this. So knew he was ready for that moment. It was glad to see. I was glad that he had that experience. I mean, he's been lights out for us. I think he's been an unsung hero the last 2 weeks. Obviously our offense has been moving the ball, but he's been finishing it. You want to finish the drive with every kick, and he's been doing that. So that's been good for him.
Time since 09. What's the vibe in here right now?
Oh, up, high. So we got to go enjoy this and get back to it, correct what we need to correct, and get back to a humble start for next week for a really good team.
Can we talk about your guy in the secondary, Cam Bynum? 2 weeks in a row now. What's he been like so far?
Oh, he's been a blanket. He's been a breath of fresh air.
He's been comic relief. He's always had the room high. It's hard to be like that, especially in the secondary, where like a lot of things are thrown your way. Calls, formations, great teams like Denver. But he's a guy that hold us steady. That's a guy that we put a lot of trust into. We got him back there to make some plays, and he do exactly what he's called to do.
Kenny, you been a part of an ending like that, Kenny, in your career? What's the emotions of, oh, we might have lost, oh my God, we just won?
I mean, yeah, a lot of times in the game, it was called, certain ways, but to have that call right there, swinging to our way to try to get the win. Schrader, he's been lights out all season. He's been lights out all practice, leading up into that moment. I wanted that moment for him. He deserved that. So, yeah, we just got to keep it going.
What was it like to celebrate in this locker room with him, with that on the field, all of it? Just...
We've gone a long way to get here. We've been through a lot. A lot of the guys that's been here through it all. It's cool to have that 2-0 start. It's humbling. Whenever you go through tough times and you get on the other side, you have a deep appreciation. So it was really cool to celebrate with the coaches, with the players, the teammates and everybody. We put a lot into the game, throughout the week. So to have that W, it meant a lot.
Crazy game.
Watching that field goal.
Oh, just the fact that the first one, the miss was the flag, like it's football. Football, you never know what's going to happen, especially being a part of these games. This is one of those games that I'll remember for the rest of my life. There's only probably one other game in my life that I'll always stick with. So this just got added to that list of just insane games that I've been a part of. So it was just cool to be able to watch, and shout out to Spencer for making that last kick. That's huge.
How do you describe that rush? It was a mob off the bench. Off the bench to get to your kicker.
Yeah, it was crazy. I lost track. I started looking at the crowd, trying to turn the crowd up. It was just insane. I got to Spencer probably a few minutes later, and he was still getting bombarded by people. So just the love that we have for each other on this team to lift each other up when they're down, because it was a rough game. It was not a pretty game at all on any. Well, offense did their thing. Defense for us, we had to be better. But the fact that they carried us through it, and we got the stops when we needed to, it was just a complete team win.
2 weeks, 2 interceptions, another great celebration.
Yeah, I'm going for 17 for 17. Yeah, that's the goal. One every game. I know, it's perfect that blue. Yeah. There was no preparation for that. That was just one of those things I had in the back of my mind. Coincidentally, if blue is near me, I'm going to do that. So it was. I'm glad they didn't throw a flag, because I thought a certain amount of pumps would get me flagged, but they let me go, thankfully.
For this defense, obviously, you guys knew you would be without Mooney. You're without Latu. What does it say about this group, the depth, the way that you guys were tested, your resilience? You found a way to pull that one out.
Yeah, the next man up mentality. Every single person that's on roster or people getting elevated from practice squad to be active, every single person is held to a standard that you're going to play, and you have to play well when you're in. So I think we were able to go out there and show that we can win games no matter who's playing, because we have such good depth and people that are focused throughout the week and preparing as if they're a starter. But like I said already, we didn't like the game that we had on defense for the most part, but there's a lot of things to fix.
So obviously a happy Colts locker room after a 29-28 win over the Denver Broncos. One of the craziest games you'll ever see. 2-0 again for the first time since 2009. That is real. Vibes are high. Jake Arthur joining us from Roundtable Sports, and of course Colts, Locked On Colts rather, on WTHR Plus. Always a pleasure to have Jake with us here. Your thoughts, sir? I mean, what a game. I don't even really know where to begin, but let's begin at the end. Spencer Schrader, the hero, perfect through 2 weeks, 5 of 5 here on Sunday. What a win.
Yeah, I mean, the guy gets redemption with the leverage penalty at the end. I mean, 60 yards, I mean, do you really want to blame the kicker for them relying on him to get his first 60-yarder out here at the end of the game? Sure. I mean, you got to make your kicks, but he was given a second chance, 15-yard boost, and he nailed it.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right? All that matters is that the Colts scored more points than the Broncos. At the end of it all, okay, real quickly before we get into the bulk of this game, any problem with the way Shane Steichen called the offense there down the stretch? It felt like they were settling for a very long field goal attempt. Obviously, it doesn't matter. Bailed out, 2-0. It's all good. But any issue taken with that?
Yeah, they obviously played it conservatively, like you would expect them to, just to run out the clock. They didn't even want to give Denver a kickoff in exchange, essentially. But at the same time, you get down there. They thought they were going to get more yards on that third down than they did. It's like that was still pretty backed up, though. I probably would have tried to get a little more than what they did. I think they were just playing it probably a little too safe. And it's, they were down by 2. If they missed that 60-yard kick, then it's over. And they got a little bailed out by that leverage penalty. Right. So, yeah, there's probably some things for Shane to look back on and correct as well. But overall, really good game by him. Nearly 500 yards on one of the best defenses in the entire league.
Hey, all's well that ends well, all right? And Daniel Jones followed up his Week 1 performance with yet another really impressive performance. Spreading it, what's most impressive to me is the way he's spreading the wealth. Yeah. Not one Colts receiver over 79 yards, 5 receptions, 4 receptions, 3 receptions, 2 receptions, all the way through. A lot of guys getting involved. Your takeaways from the Colts offense, JT, what a big game out of him as well. Just all the way around, it looks good offensively against, like you mentioned, coming in, perception-wise, one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, total team effort on this one. Jonathan Taylor, you mentioned, over 200 yards of offense. The guy is pass protecting now. He is coming down with all the targets he's being thrown as well, because I think he had like 50 yards receiving in that. So, yeah, they spread the ball around really well. Daniel Jones taking what the defense gives him, executing the offense at a really high level. Like you mentioned, the ball was spread around, but at the end of the day, when you need a play, he's going to his guys. Josh Downs getting the ball, Pittman, Tyler Warren. The important guys who are the gotta-have-it guys are getting the ball when it needs to happen. And this team just feels different offensively, especially like this was not the defense's day by any means. They were shorthanded, yes, but they didn't do as well as they probably should have. The offense bailed them out, and when was the last time we could really say that?
Truly, and it feels like Shane Steichen just feels free to call his offense. I don't know, just something about the way Daniel Jones is commanding this offense is really impressive. And you could say what you want about the Miami Dolphins, and we certainly did after Week 1, but the Denver Broncos defense lauded throughout, nationally, right? Yeah. When people look at the Denver Broncos defense, you touched on the defense of the Colts. Latu out, Travarius Ward out. Yeah. So obviously impactful guys missing this game, but night and day a little bit from the performance we saw against the Dolphins in Week 1. Your takeaways?
Yeah, it was. I don't want to blame it all on them being shorthanded, because that's going to happen in the NFL. There was no pass rush out there really, which Latu is their number 1 pass rusher. Very limited pass rush. You're really only getting much return from DeForest Buckner, who, how long does he have to be your North Star for your pass rush, The secondary, there were some holes in there. Cam Bynum bailed him out and helped kind of spark things at the end, but they need Ward and Latu back, definitely. Xavier Howard, that's a veteran they were really relying on, but he had that series that three penalties in 5 plays, and 2 of the 3 were legit. So yeah, he's going to want that one back, but they need their full complement of defensive backs to return pretty soon.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Penalties too, a big issue with this team. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot. There's a lot of penalties for the Colts in this one. Shane Steichen saying you got to clean that up, no doubt about it. But last thing I want to leave you guys with from Jake Arthur, again, of Locked On Colts and Roundtable Sports. Jake, the vibes around this team feel a little bit different. I think the pessimism coming in was loud, and rightfully so. And look, I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl or anything, but 2-0 is 2-0 against a pretty good team here on Sunday. Your takeaways from the locker room, it feels lighter. It feels more confident. I don't know. Can't put my finger on it. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us that have covered this team for a while can feel that it does feel different. Like, when we're watching a game, it's normally hard to have confidence that they're going to turn it around and come out on top in the tight ones, the one-score games. But this offense is doing well. The defense coming up with plays when they absolutely need it. And we asked some of the players in the locker room after, like, does this feel different? I asked Kenny, I was like, you've been through it with this team, man. Like, does this feel like you're turning a corner? And he said, yeah, this team does feel a little different. Offensively, they're clicking. And he gave all the kudos to Shane first about keeping them in it, keeping them confident, and keeping the message the same. Like, say what you want about Shane Steichen, but the guy is consistent, and he always has the same message. You're never going to wonder what you're getting in your head coach. And I think when the players and everything comes together and the team is performing well, it's a lot easier to receive that message from that guy, again, when things are going well, and he has helped pull everyone in the right direction.
Right, no question about it. I like that. Shane Steichen, steady Eddie. There's no question about that. You can say anything about him, but
welcome,
that much is true. All right, Jake Arthur, the inside, awesome as always. You can watch on Locked On Colts right here on WTHR Plus. Love that he joins us after every single game. The Colts are 2-0. I don't know what else to say. The Colts are 2-0. It feels really good. Titans next week on the road, another winnable game. So we're going to be there. We'll see if this Colts team can keep it rolling. For now, we're at Lucas Oil Stadium. We'll see you next time.